for Terry Reid. Now, one of the things that familiarized me with all of your work was a documentary you did a long time ago that also someone else in the audience was also in.
Oh, that one. I've been trying to figure it out to get Pam into the situation.
Well,
yeah, but go on.
Miss Pamela.
Miss Pam.
Very, the very top, most famous groupie in the entire world, and a incredibly successful author as well.
Yeah. But the sweetest, for all them years, the sweetest girl I think I've met ever.
Yes. The sweetest person.
Yeah. So you were asking me about that movie, were you?
But yeah, right. So when I saw that was one thing. But I remember being outside of the room when they came to your part. I remember thinking, oh, there's some black people on here finally. And then I went back in there, and here's this dude like killing it. I could have sworn you were black. And from
that part,
I was
right?
in another room, but the sound that was coming and playing sounded like you sounded black to me.
Well, that was the biggest compliment I could ever have, really.
Well,
no, I mean that's a sincere part, because that's all I love anyway. It was Sinatra, but in Sinatra, they were interviewing Sinatra one time, and don't get me wrong. But it was very interesting because he didn't like doing interviews. He hated interviews, right? Yeah, he said, you don't want to talk to people. So they said, well, could you just say one thing? Who's your favorite, your biggest influence as a singer? And he goes, that's easy, Nat King Cole. Yeah. And that was it. And he says, do you have another question? Because I'm really busy and I have to go. Right, that's all he said. And
I can't wait.
That told the story. You listen to the timing of his singing and everything, and Nat King Cole wrote the book on that.
But I saw you in that, man, and I saw you playing that.
That was San Francisco, I think.
That was San Francisco.
That's right.
And
I think it was Bill Graham's Fillmore.
Yeah, that's right. Fillmore.
Right.
And what sticks out to me the most about that.
That's some wicked. That was some wicked stuff going on there, but we don't want to get in that.
Besides the music.
Yeah.
Was that kid that was like Paul.
Oh, Chaz.
Chaz. God, that's right.
And Goldie.
For some reason, some reason,
Oh, I love Goldie.
For some reason, I've never been able to let go of this kid Chaz. Wondering hoping that he made it through that.
Well, he got beaten up by.
That night.
That night, right? He was only 14.
Wow. Jeez.
Chaz,
and he was high.
I don't. Yeah. Oh. God.
And he's like,
for weeks.
Want a massage?
I know, but Chaz, you gotta say, Chaz.
You're like, no.
Chaz
you're like, no.
Chaz was a very misdirected young human being.
Yeah.
And thank God he had Goldie and some of the other entourage around who were very supportive. Goldie was. I really love Goldie. It was really something else. He'd do my ironing for me.
Ah, cool.
Best ironer you ever saw. Don't go there. Don't. No. So, but Goldie, I don't know if I should know. Somebody very famous beat up Chaz that night at the gig, and yeah. He didn't like gays. You're in San Francisco and you're running a big. Hello, we have a problem here, No, I swear, and it was very upsetting because these people were very faithful fans that would come around and fly around. But let's put a lighter side on this. Like Goldie, Goldie, we did Oakland Coliseum with the Stones, big gig, yeah. You remember that, right?
Yes,
I know.
You were there?
Right? So do you remember
Miss
what?
Pamela.
Miss
Pamela. She was there.
My good friend. Right?
Yes.
See, me and Pam go way back to Frank Zappa when he had the log cabin up on, and Frank would hold court.
Yeah.
That's basically, it wasn't a party. Frank would sit in that chair and hold court. And we'd all just get all totally out of our minds. You know, it was like,
know that, though.
He didn't realize.
What?
He was a teetotaler. He didn't
Yeah, he didn't do anything.
He didn't realize.
Everybody thought Frank was the crazy guy, and little did they know it was us. We had it all going on, right? You know. But Goldie at that Oakland Coliseum, you'll remember, Pam, right? Is that what he did? He had this amazing crush for Keith Richards. That was it. He didn't like Mick Jagger at all. Right, you know. So no, I got it. So what he does, he said, would you take me in the dressing room just if I could meet Keith? I'll be good. I won't freak out and all this. I said, okay then, right. So he turns up. Now, they had a whole organized transvestite group called the Coquettes. Very, very famous in San Francisco, very famous in Paris. I went to Paris and they were booked at Paris Olympia. Damn, I mean, they were earning some real kind of coin over there, right? Yeah. I'm telling you. So we were really good friends. He said, if you're lonely, just, I'd do anything. I said, okay, but you got to be cool, because this dressing room is out of control anyway. But I said, Keith, I think, yeah, he'll appreciate it, right? So he can't. I'm playing Summertime Blues or something stupid, right? And I'm up there, and I'm playing away. And, you know, Oakland Coliseum is, you can't, it's worse than here. You can't see anything past the footlights, right? But I can see the one avenue channel that's lit for people where the seats are to get in. And I see somebody walking down the aisle, getting closer and closer to the stage. It's really high as the ceiling. But getting closer and closer, and I went, it's Marilyn Monroe. I went, wait, Marilyn passed a while ago. Wait, what's going on? But this is a vision of bliss here. The blonde and the hair and and I'm going, what is going on? And he had a rose in his hand. She had a rose in, sorry. I hadn't figured it out yet, right? And he got right close to the stage. He said, Terry, I don't want to interrupt anything, right? I'm just staggered. He said, would you give this to Keith, your drummer? Right? And then I took him in the dressing room. and Keith was like, yeah, typical Keith. I mean, I love Keith. He's always got a line for everything. So I took him in, and I introduced him. Keith, this is a good friend of mine, Goldie. And Marilyn, and Keith took one and he went, wow, very pleased to meet you, right? Like this. And Goldie, I thought was going to pass out. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like this. And anyway, she was very good, didn't say anything. And Keith turned and he goes, yeah, it's nice to have a good class of people in the dressing room for a change. That was
awesome.
So Goldie thought that was the best, yeah.
Tell me about your first time opening up for the Stones. What was that like to be up in?
It was a riot.
That amazing.
It was a riot. What happened? We
audience.
did that. I said earlier on. There was the Albert Hall, right? Mm-hmm. So of course I'm 50. I'm going like, this is great. And that's when Brian Jones was.
So
in
you were
the band.
15 at this point.
Yeah, I'm 15, right?
15, wow.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't I don't know. You know, they asked me to do it. I mean, my dad said, well, if you turn it down, that's more than I earned last year. So it's up to you. I don't want to influence you. It's up to you, right?
Well, I meant to ask you that. Were your parents supportive?
Oh, yeah. My dad was always very supportive.
That's great.
Well, he said to me one time, he said, well, look, he says, I really don't see you as a plumber. It's not that. And my dad's a car dealer. So, you know, car dealer's a car. He buys and sells, and he'll get a car in and he'll hide the keys because he knows immediately I would like that Jaguar. I'd look on the board like, damn, the keys are gone. He'd know right away, you know.
Well, let's get back to the
to Albert Hall. So
Albert Hall.
We go on. I opened the show with a group called Peter J and the Jaywalkers, which I was a part of, which I still very sincerely love the whole idea. And it was like an R&B kind of band, you know. We're doing all those great things like Respect and Midnight Hour and all. I get to do all these songs that I love, right? So we do that. Then I could see the Turner come on, and you go, I must be wasting my time. Why am I on this thing, right? Then the Yardbirds come on, right? And then the Stones come on. Now, the Stones had recorded Satisfaction, right? And there's a rumor going on about this new single coming out and all this and everything. So, typical Stones, I mean, they're the one group in history, or ever will be, is they're the only ones that bad publicity is on their side. It had nothing to do with all that Beatle nice guy stuff, you know, no, nothing to do with it. No, is that if they could figure something to do that would get in the papers, right, you know, or something, they'd get points. Now, most groups, you wouldn't dare do half of the things they did, you know, because you wouldn't get away with it. But they were the bad boys of rock and roll, and because when you get the reputation, you roll with it. And the tour was out of control. They're doing something every 5 minutes. So we get on they go on stage, they do 2 songs, and then Keith goes into Satisfaction. That's it. The place went nuts. I'm sitting on the back of the stage. If you ever see a gig at the Albert Hall, even a classical gig, right? The stage is round at the back, and you've got these little tunnels where the orchestra people come up and take their seats, right? And they have 2 little doors, right? It's very Victorian, right? So they start Satisfaction. I'm sitting on the back of the stage. Everything went black.
Wow.
There's a riot. Now, they never did it again. Never used rock and roll. Did they ever have anybody sit in the back after this gig? I'm serious. This is 1965, 66, right? No, they banned it. They came over my head. I got stepped on with a stiletto.
Jeez.
I still get these pains in the back of my back, you know. As, you know, getting stepped on by some girl, you know. Later on I got stepped on as well, but, you know.
Yeah.
But no, I still, you know, I can remember that, you know, I get twinges. But it went black. And of course, we all dove for those little doors,
Yeah.
right? And behind me is Brian Jones, and I'll never forget him saying, he goes, "Oh, Terry," he says, "it'll be all over the papers tomorrow." They planned this.
Oh, that's good.
And
PR.
I'm going like, yeah, it's all right for you. I'm bloody injured. You know? God. Oh, he said it will be in the paper. I couldn't believe, you know, but that was the first night of the tour. Wow. And they closed the show. That was it. It was a riot, and they closed the show.
Wow.
And the funny thing was, the only person we looked around and did a head check, you know, how many people in your group, right? You know, it's 5. So we look around and went, "Where's Keith?" Oh, we're looking around, and there's no Keith. We went, "Oh shit!" So we go, look through the doors, and he's still out there. They're tearing him to pieces, right? And he took him, and he came in the dressing room. Wow. That was a great idea, that. And all his pants are ripped and shredded. It was like, I'm going, this is the first night.
Wait a minute here. Now, you're 15 years
Yeah, I
old.
know.
You're 15.
I know.
And this wild, I mean, you're just thrust
I
into the
never
middle of
knew. I never knew women did things like that.
I mean, yeah, you would have barely
It's a big
been in
shock to me.
You would have barely been.
I've been
into
trying
high
to
school.
get them to do it, but they actually did it, you know.
I mean, you would have barely been in high school at that point because you had
I
dropped
left
out.
school.
You
I left.
dropped
No,
out,
yeah, well, no. It was summer recess. What do you call it here? You know,
summer vacation.
summer vacation.
Yeah.
Okay, when you go out of school and you got the summer vacation, right? Well, we you'd call it recess there. So we come out of school, and I had to make a decision. At 15, I had to make a decision to go to college, which I had a scholarship to do pottery. You know, throw things on a wheel. It was actually very good. Now I do it again. I'm a member of a club that up there in the desert, and I'm you get the feel back, right? Right. So, but I told my dad I want to be a potter, right? He's a car dealer, right? He looks at me and goes, "Oh, there's a big calling for potters." They're crying out for potters. Oh, he said, "God," he says, "they're going to be queuing up out here." He said, "You just got an invite to go on the Stones tour, and you want to be a potter?" Oh, praise, have you lost your freaking mind, right? Says, look how much they've, you know.
Man, I
So-
can't even imagine how that.
Yeah, but you see
Felt
how
for
this is
you.
all like, it's all crazy, really. Rock and roll back then, as we know, is when these things would happen, whatever groups, you talk to all people that put groups together back then, and you know, I mean, nowhere near as famous as some of our friends, right? But you listen to their stories, and it's hard to believe. Things happen so quick, right, that they're standing there with their head spinning, wondering what the hell happened, you know?
Did it feel like that all the way through it? Was there ever a moment where you knew you were in a special time in a very, very special place?
No, yeah, not really. All I thought was, when I was at home, I was watching the Rolling Stones and all this stuff and the Beatles on TV and riots and stuff like going, oh, whatever. Right? Now, all of a sudden, within 2 days, I get stepped, I'm in the middle of the riot. The next day, it's on TV and I see me running for my life. That's my mates at school that I'd left, right? They're all going, is that you? Well, you know it is because I'm all dressed up for the event, you know. I mean, nobody's going to wear that just to go out for dinner.
Well, at that point, the girls at your school must have just been falling over.
Well, sort of. But I moved to London, so it was like I left home. I joined a group and I left home, moved to London and went on tour with the Rolling Stones, you know. So I don't know. I mean, it's still, to me, it's sort of, I have to chuckle about it, you know. I mean, I talked to Keith about it, you know, and he goes, yeah. And I said, yeah, but you guys look so much older than me when I joined your tour. And he goes, yeah, right. And I said, but when I look at the pictures now, you all look like schoolboys too, you know. It's really interesting, you know, 2 years or 3 years apart. Don't seem like nothing now.
It's hard for me as a fan
Yeah.
to separate you from this incredibly special once in a lifetime time
Yeah.
that was happening, where you could do
Which
so
one?
many things.
Yeah.
Where you could do so many things that now today would get me killed. You know, but you guys were able to.
Yeah,
do,
yes,
like,
you got
all
a
these
very
different
good
things.
point there.
Yeah.
You especially.
Me especially.
You know.
Oh yeah.
But you see, the thing is, you got to understand it. I was basically, I'd come to America yet, right? And the big shock to me was, I didn't see it dawning, is that this is the God's honest truth. There were very few, other than going to Paris, right? Now, I'm a big jazz connoisseur. I wouldn't say connoisseur. I mean, I love my jazz. I love my John Coltrane. I love it. So, unbeknownst to me, having all these records and loving the music, and that's my feed, you know, it's all going in, right? Is in England, there were very few black American people, male or female, right? So you'd bump into an American black guy, hey, man, you know, what's happening? You know, so, or something, you know.
Happens to me every
Oh,
day."
yeah, exactly. Well, it will here, you know. But you go to Paris and you bump into a lot of, but they speak French. And that confuses the hell out of you, but they're from America. So,
Damn, they're from America and speak French?
yeah,
Well, they confuse the hell out of me too. I
you
don't know
got
none
it.
of them.
See, so, I mean,
I've never met a black person that started speaking. Well, no, I met
No,
one
you
black
see,
person that started.
the reason being is, I don't want to go on here, but you see, jazz in America was
Right.
not heralded in the way it should have been.
Right.
Coltrane and Miles Davis, you know, up to then, is, you know, Ornette Coleman, and all these great artists.
Yeah, and the ones
They
that were
couldn't
upcoming,
work. They
like,
couldn't work
Quincy
here.
Jones was over there.
Quincy Jones too, you see. So,
Yeah.
well, Quincy and Charlie Parker and Coltrane, that was all that whole movement.
Yeah.
But you couldn't work in America because you're black and it's a racist thing. It's like, I never knew about all that. It never, you know, I'm a little white guy from England who like hears that music and goes, hey, God, you got another record. You know, I'm all in. And it really hurt me when I found out and came to America and found out about, I mean this very sincerely, you know, it was all the music I loved, and I saw the racism and that, and it took me a long while when I moved, a long time, to be able to get to say, yeah, that is what's happening. And I read a lot and about the South and all the different aspects of it. I'm trying to, but these things are terrible. They're terrible in any country.
Yeah.
But black people could only work with the jazz in Paris.
Yeah.
Paris in Italy.
Yeah.
I mean, Judd at the Paris Olympia, you know, or jazz festivals over there. I mean, you could earn big money.
Yeah.
And that kept jazz alive.
Yeah.
So I'm very glad for that, you know.
Yeah.
I was dying to sort of talk to you on a real level of things. The music is the music, and that's something we all love and share. But all the things that go behind, that come out and behind the music, and the people that do it, God bless them, you know. Yeah. I mean, it ain't an easy road. I mean, I know all me and my funny stories and all what we did and that, and the rock and roll guys, we got away with murder, like you said. Not literally, but, you know, you sometimes, we won't mention them, right, you know. But, see, me and Pamela, I mean, it's an ongoing situation, right? But see, we met like way back then, and it was all really good back then. There was a whole thing starting to happen, really.
Yeah.
Another thing, we had the Beatles and the Stones and all that, but there was a whole other thing coming on. Now, all that peace and love and things. I never thought I'd end up living in Laurel Canyon. Right? I ended up 10 years bringing my kids up and having them go into Wonderland School. Parents' Day at Wonderland School was pretty out there. You know? I'd never seen parents that way, you know. No.
Now, speaking of music, you got another song for us?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I'll play it.
Yes.
But it's just a simple thing. It's not a long story. Recently, I was back in England last year. The thing is, I had to clean the whole house out, right? Wow. Now, we all know how that goes, right? We all know. And you as you're going through stuff, you start finding things. Yeah. And then you go, oh, I wonder where my stamp collection went. You know, so these things are my train set. You go back to being a kid again, right? Yeah. So based upon that, I'm going through stuff, and I suddenly come across some school books of mine. And there was 3 or 4 songs, and there was this one called Summer Sequence, which was also on that first album. I couldn't believe it. And there's all the lyrics. And I go, what was going on? See, because I hadn't clicked that I'd written, what happens, we do something at a certain age, like 13 or 14, but you don't get a record deal till you're later. So my recollection point is that I only see those songs as when we recorded them. That's what we were all into, you know, right? Yeah. Making a record, you know, very cool. But I hadn't realized I'd written them way long ago, right? So this is that Summer Sequence. I haven't played. I might get things right. I haven't ever played it before since then.
Okay.
Right, you know.
Do it. Terry Reid, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so the night it's all over. We will rise to meet the time. We'll stop, go fish the river that we never fished before. Well, today's a summer sequence. It will rain again tomorrow. The sky will turn to purple, and then we'll all go home. While you lay there sleeping, all my thoughts are free. You'll be looking over, unbeknownst to me. That sun beats through your window, heralding a day. It's so good to be near you. What more can I say? Tell me now, what more can I say?
Yes. Yeah.
I think I need them up now.
More Terry Reid when we come back.
I got it.
I'm here with Terry Reid, and it is freaking awesome.
That's a lot of fun, man.
And I'm glad you're having a good time.
Yeah, I know. I love talking to you.
So I got another question to lean on them, and so we'll see if we can give some money away.
Up for you.
Okay, who were all of the people in the gang, the Scooby Gang from Scooby Doo?
Oh, yeah, that's too American.
All of their names. 1, 2, 3, and go.
Fred.
Fred, Daphne, Vilma, Scooby, Shaggy.
That's it. That's the original.
Wow.
$100. Come on up and get it.
Wow, good deal. That was fantastic.
20, 40, 60, 80, $100.
There you go.
Let's give her a hand, everybody. Oh, there's Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, that's out of the woods. That's great.
Yeah.
That's really
I didn't know if anybody would get it.
Well, it's a very American thing. So
Yeah.
I'm out of the woods there.
You're like,
Yeah.
I don't know who the hell Scooby-Doo gang.
Yeah.
So you got another song.
Yeah. I'll do it. It's an interesting thing because there's a bunch of other things happened after this Rolling Stone thing. It went on and on and on.
Yes.
And out of that, you meet a lot of friends. You know, suddenly that whole scene in London all becomes an oyster. You know, you suddenly become friends with all these people that you never thought you'd meet, you know. One day I get this call from Jimmy Page, right? And I'd known Jimmy Page because, like I said to you, we were on tour together in 65, 66 with Jeff Beck and the whole thing with the Abbas. So we know each other pretty well. And he calls me and he says, I'm putting this band together. And I went, really? He says, yeah. I said, well, who's in it? And he goes, well, I got John Paul Jones. No, I went, you mean Donovan's bass player? You know, who played upright. Very good musician, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And I go, what kind of band is like the Incredible String Band? What are you doing? Right? Anyway, we had a laugh about it. And he said, do you want to take a shot at it, you know, for singing? And I went, well, yeah, hell, I'll play with you anytime. Now, I just got on this thing with the Stones, here we go, right, to go on tour with them. I just signed, well, not signed anything, it's a handshake. Not even that, I said yes. Right? So, and the one thing I don't...
Most of showbiz works.
Yeah, you know, I mean, well, if you tell Keith yes, I wouldn't say no the next day, you know. I mean, that might not get a bit ugly, you know, I mean, and Mick and all them. So, and not only that, I love them dearly. So I said, well, I got this. Well, let me go do that. And then when I get back, we'll give it a shot and see what happens, right? Oh, I can't wait that long. Oh, no, and all this, you know. And he'd asked a whole bunch of different singers around. I think Steve Marriott, everybody around London, you know, to try things out. And he had an idea in his head, right? So I sort of went, oh, well, God, I hope I get back. We'll see what happens, right? So I go on tour. And before I went on tour, I was doing some gigs up in the north of England. And we were up near a place called Buxton, north of Birmingham. And I'd seen this band one time before, and they were a little rebellious, right? The drummer was out of his friggin' mind, you know. I mean, he threw a chair through a friggin' window, you know. And you know, and he's chasing somebody's wife around and all. So, and I'm going, God, mate, these guys are like, they're real rock and roll. Drummers are always nuts, right? So, ain't that true? So we get a gig with them with a guy from America called Tim Rose, right? Who had a song called Morning Dew. Take Me Out in the Morning Dew, right? And so we're doing this gig, and I'm on second, and this group called the Band of Joy is on first. The PA blew up. I have this wonderful big PA, you know. Terry Scott spent all his money, right? Spent everything on a PA system from Sweden, no less. You know? It's unbelievable, but he's broke, right? So anyway, so yeah, you got this wonderful PA, but no money. So they just broke down, and I went, oh, now it's the one time that the roadies had gone to the pub. So I figured, oh, I get a chance to actually use the thing. So I got the microphone and I throw it at the singer. I says, here, go on, give it a shot. And I get to play with, see, I'm broke, I might get to use it. Right? So I'm playing, as I'm listening, I'm going, you know, this would be perfect, right? What Jim's talking about, you know, this would, wow, you know, he sings all those guitar licks and shit. Hang on a second, this is really, it's not exactly my cup of tea singing guitar licks. I mean, you know, yeah. I could do it, but it's, you know, I'm a songsmith and all that thing. But I thought to myself, God, this would be great. Not only that, the drummer is out of his mind. I mean, he actually, he's heavier than Ginger Baker. And he's crazier than Keith well, no, not quite. No, that's really pushing it. No, nobody was crazier than him. But he's along the lines. He's got every attribute a drummer would want. And he's really a good drummer. He's heavy duty, right? Yeah. Wow, this is rock and roll. So I go back to London. I get hold of Jimmy. Now, there's this, look, I got to go do the Stones thing, but you got to check these guys out, right? And he says, who are they? I said, the Band of Joy. Never heard of them. I said, listen to me, trust me. I think if you get in rehearsal and do something, I think I might get something out of it. He said, well, what does he look like? I said, he looks like a Greek god. Right. And he says, really? I said, yeah, well, he looks better than you. Just joking. He hung up on me. I went, oh, shit, that didn't go well. So anyway, I called him back and we had a laugh about it and everything. And anyway, he couldn't find them. They went underground for a bit. I don't know, they had some things to do. I don't know, up in Birmingham, that could mean anything. So anyway, they couldn't find them for a few days. Peter Grant was looking around and he finally got them. They went into rehearsal and the rest is history.
Wow.
Nice.
Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin. But you see, the thing is, everybody was by design putting all these groups together. And I could tell you about a lot of failures. Tell you some that were just absolutely horrible. But, you know, but on the other hand, you know, we know some that tried and missed and all that, you know, and everything. But it just goes to show, you never know when something will work.
Yeah.
But that group, Zeppelin, really worked in the studio. It was Jimmy Page's design that made that thing really fly. Because I went to a rehearsal and it didn't sound awful. It wasn't until they got in the studio and they designed things. That whole thing with echoes and the whole thing of the design of that is brilliant. I mean, I was just really sad that Jimmy didn't produce a lot more albums for people. I mean, you know, he's got such a great talent design for things. It's not who's in the group. It's a load of rubbish. It's all about design in a career, you know. Like you only get like a Pink Floyd or one of those things come along every now and then, you know, that's really special.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's all I say. I'm very honored. I'm very flattered to be part of the society of all that and be a part of, look, 2 billion people can't be wrong.
Yeah, there you go.
Sell a lot of records, ka-ching, you know. But I'm real proud of that we helped put that together, you know.
Yeah, right.
It's really great, you know, you get it right, you know.
Huge.
You never know, though.
I can't wait to hear this song.
Okay, yeah. Well, this was before that happened.
Okay.
Right, so. Well, there's a lady I know, and you think, no, wait, no, it's the wrong song. What am I doing? See, I've talked my way out and into something, right? Chicken or the egg, right? You know. How come I think I've got them we were having good times. Couldn't say we paid dues. All got shoes and money and good friends too. Sometimes you think you win, only to find that you're gonna lose. That's how I think you get there. This is blues. That's how I think you get there. This is blues. Running around with all that money, what the hell you got to do? But I know what's going on, and I can tell you we'll wait till dawn is soon. I know just exactly what's on your mind. We'll sit back and cruise. So you look back at these things, you look back at what you choose. Shoes, money, and all them good friends too. You say you're gonna win, hey, what is winning, and what's it take to lose? That's how I think you get there. It is blues.
You guys agree with me that when he plays, his love of playing the music just gets out there to you?
Yeah.
I mean, you know? I mean, I've interviewed people who have, you know, they seem like they're just doing the hardest job in the world, just
Yeah.
singing their music, you know? Like
Yeah,
they
right.
don't have a lot of joy. But with you, there's this like this intense
Yes.
joy of playing.
Oh, hell,
music.
you know, like I said, I'd make a terrible plumber. Yeah. No, God bless you. You know, I mean, it's a gift that God sort of gives you, and like I say, I don't know what it is, but it's so enjoyable to do.
You're quoted as saying that your music wasn't released; it escaped.
That's true. That's true. Well, no, that's you know,
I
you
know
get.
what that meant.
Okay, I'll tell you what it means. Is you have to be humble and grateful at the same time for all that happens to you in life, right? You know, not everybody can be the Beatles or the Rolling Stones. Not everybody can be that, but to be in the presence of your peers, one should really be, very thankful that you're part of a community, like, or of all this that happens, and you become part and parcel of all these things. You go back to like the Sinatras and the Nat King Coles and the Ella Fitzgeralds. Think about it. These people were a community. They hung real tight together to support the music, right? Rock and roll groups are a lot different. They all hate each other. You know, they will not go on after you think I'm going on after him? You're got to be joking. Actually, I want him off the show. He's
Sounds
way
like-
too good to be on the show. Get
Sounds
rid of
like
him.
you've done a little time in comedy.
So, life's a joke, I tell you. But no, the whole thing of like my records, they weren't released, they escaped, is when you go through these, well, in business with companies. Companies, they always think they thought of the whole idea of this music in the first place, right? And it's still, do you know what? It really, right, Pam, it really hasn't changed. I talk to some young guys now that are like going for record deals, and they're still getting screwed the same way. I mean, it's the same deals, but what they do, they start to say, oh, well, I thought of this, and everything, and then they start screwing you over, and then you do the record, you spend all this time, 3-4 months or something, or sometimes, crafting and doing this, and they look at it and go, what is it? They don't have a clue. It's like, it gets scary, and you go, what do you mean? You don't know what it is? And you're asking me? Well, you're the one that said I was supposed to do it, right?
Yeah.
So they said, well, we'll put it out anyway. So with my records, I haven't had the good fortune to be, this magnanimous thing, and, the Eagles. Yeah, but if knowing Joe and Henley and everybody, and knowing the politics that go to make a group like that, right? It's fascinating that it's not what people think.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I always say, okay, that release, it's escaped. My records escaped. They released them, but not really. They escaped. They got very, very lucky that anybody has heard them anyway, because they didn't promote things or do anything. So I'm very lucky that people actually know who the hell I am.
Wow.
But when you get like, I know Joe Walsh, and I know all the guys in the Eagle, and you see all the rig, you hang with that bunch, you see what it takes to make that go, I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough world, but it's their job, so God bless them. In that situation, sometimes a good insult is a lot healthier than a compliment.
Damn true.
Shit.
You said,
That's really true.
you named off a bunch of people that you said it's hard to become this person, this group, and that group.
Yeah.
I say that it is hardest to become Terry Reid.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy. I'm very happy. Yeah, you're very kind. Very kind. Yeah, Pam. Would we believe we'd still be sitting here now, right? There you go. So every time I see Pam, I go, can you believe we're still here? I don't believe it. So see, that's the thing, since I've known Pam, we've always laughed at it. When I first met Pam, she always had that same, even though it's dark and I can't see it, I can see the smile on her face. She has that same smile as when I first met her at the Shadow of My Mind.
Died.
And wherever we were, it's a couple of things in your books you've said about A couple of the Mick Jagger ones were real good. I bet when he read that, he weren't too happy, right? No, you know.
And people at home watching,
Yeah, but he would. He'd laugh. You
Miss
know.
Pamela will be back on the show this season.
Yeah.
So yes, that voice that you're hearing in the background, that's what that
Yeah.
is. Yes, that is her. Yes, she's actually here.
Yeah.
And yes, she will be on the show this season. So
I would.
looking forward to that.
Yeah, I might come down for that one. Yeah.
Oh, yes, I would. Please do.
And I'll do what I'll do. I'll heckle you. It's not.
I want to tell you, not in my, I'm not only grateful for you doing the show. I'm, as we close up here, I'm grateful that it's been more special than I even thought it would be.
Oh, really?
And I
Oh,
knew
wow.
that it was going to be special, but it was.
Well,
I mean, you can honestly say I was really good tonight, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Shit.
what I was saying. Special, right?
Yeah, I know
Like
about
in your
that. I
life,
know about that.
this is probably better.
That
than
guitar
you opening
playing,
up.
I don't know about that, but
No,
you know.
this is probably better than you opening up for the Stones, right? Like,
Well, it's safer.
here.
So it's a lot safer.
Well, I got some girls who are going to run over you when we walk outside.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a couple of heels in the room.
Bring
Yeah.
back some memories. But again, you're a legend.
No, thank you very
I can't
much, man.
say enough about
Yeah.
you. This is, but for my money, this is the best show of all 3 seasons so
Right.
far.
Well,
And,
you're very
you
kind.
you really blessed me and blessed the show by being a part. And will you come back again and see us?
Hell yeah.
All
You know,
right.
no, that's no problem. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Terry Reid.
Thank you.
Well, that is it for the B.D. Freeman Show for tonight. Yeah, what can I say, man? It has been the best, the absolute best. Thank you to the audience. I love you. Oh, we will see you next week. And remember what I always say, you are not in an interracial relationship unless you're sleeping with a horse or a chicken. Okay? So, have a good night. Have a good night, and we'll see you next week. The B.D. Freeman Show. God bless you.